Okay, I'm back with a tripod, although I don't think it's going to be quite high enough for this. Got some balsa wood. I noticed in the winter spray from the rain we had, it's somewhat attacked by the some sort of fungus or something, so it is attackable. But apparently this is supposed to be a true hardwood, even though it's so light. The traditionally and scientifically, when you look at the structure of the timber, it's actually a hardwood, even though it's a whitewood. Yeah. Well, I assume that's because it's a hardwood. So I'm thinking of cutting up some of these into little strips and cutting them into little cubes and something, and trying that as a hard whitewood. See if we can grow some CPs on it, just in a small container as a starting point, a qualitative control sort of thing. Is it possible? Yes or no? Will they grow on? Cut up balsa wood sort of thing. Anyway. Gone back to this, got some semi-dry one. Hopefully they'll work as well as the other ones did. Oh yeah, there we go. Back to what we were. As I was saying before, because these break down into about 1/4 their size, I want, instead of having 4, which will make up a milk bottle, I only want 500 mils on a surface. That's my usual standard size sort of thing. So here we go. Let's put the camera on the tripod, get organised here to a certain degree, and put the camera on the tripod. Once the camera's on the tripod, everything's stable. Just waxing lyrical as per usual, fellas. I have tried in the past putting the tripod up on the bench sort of thing, but you've got to try these things, ain't you? Everyone's got to get a bit of a laugh out of it, otherwise it'd be dead boring, wouldn't it? Anyway, I'll come round here and try and okay. So the idea is to set one up with this, for the Smithers Oasis urea formaldehyde floor foam. If I can just reach over there without looking at the tripod too much. And the other idea is to get this, it's going to focus in on that. This is your, of course it'll be expanded up with the old Bruce Pearson trick that we use of straight off the boil hot water off the hot water jug. Well, I like to do these things, Anyway, so I'll just do this by hand, as you can see very quickly. It's all been like pre-crushed with my foot, and I've got strong hands. Everyone says I should be a masseuse sort of thing. I said, I bloody end up killing someone. My hands are so strong from playing the keyboard, Sort of. I have actually broken keys, but they're all the Japanese sort of plastic sort of keys on those sort of electronic keyboards. I have actually broken plastic keys, just because I played it so much, you know what I mean? They only assume someone's going to play a keyboard for so many hours, and of course, if you're a true devotee, you're going to play it a lot longer than what they think you're going to play it for. So as I said, I've got really strong hands, and I reckon they should visualise me as a Marvel comic superhero called the Blinder or something, Just all he uses is just his 2 thumbs, to avenge the night sort of thing. Oh well, it's just joking, waxing lyrical as per usual. But this is the idea. I think that's basically done. So what I'm going to do is put enough to just sort of fill up, I've got to get out of the sun, don't I? Otherwise you won't see anything. And just fill up, what do you call it, 1/2 inch sort of thing, as I go sort of thing. Maybe put a little bit more than you think, because it wasn't properly crushed down, and also it's going to settle down, and then we can so this is Smithers Oasis floor foam, and it's urea formaldehyde. I have grown, as I said before, CPs in the past. There's photographs up online. They grew reasonably well, but I never grew them flooded before, which I'm trying now, and it looks quite good. So yeah, I'm doing it by eye, fellas. You know, years of experience, sort of thing. So sort of thing, seeing how much I need, and so on and so forth, and just moving it about, sort of thing. I think I need about a centimetre on top for the formula. You know, the one we're trying a new formula with a new form of baluite. We're trying to find a form of baluite that hopefully won't react with any brown wood, but I think they do. So I think you've got to end up have a white wood, if you have any wood there at all, or maybe urea formaldehyde. You know, is urea formaldehyde a bit like a brown wood that doesn't react with the iron to form iron oxysulfate? Is that why urea formaldehyde is so good for CPs? Once you got past the initial, you know, these bricks are acidic, sort of thing, you know, because they've got a pH of about 3, which is around the sort of the acidity of peat in general, sort of thing. So yeah, I don't know. I think I will get away with it, fellas. I think I'll just put I'm down to about that much. So I think it's pretty much on the money, sort of thing. The idea that 2 bricks would make 500 mils, sort of thing. And you know, the sand will settle down if you wash it in, sort of thing. And then I'll be able to put your formula on top, and then that will settle down as well. So I don't think we're quite going to brim the bucket, but anyway, there you go. There's your sunlight. It's not the best, you know, but you've got to set up. Anyway, so the next one I'll do, I've got some in the shed stewing at the moment, some newspaper cellulose, and then I'll put that on there, and then I'll put formula on both, the same identical formula, and we'll see what happens. You never know. As I said, we're starting to bring all our ideas together now. You've got to have a white wood or something. If you've got a brown wood or a brown wood similar, it mustn't react with the iron, so therefore either you've got to pick your brown wood, or you've got to change your formula, so you've got a form of baluite that won't react with it. It's much easier to just say, oh, well, bugger this, we'll just do both the disparate things. We'll have a white wood instead of worrying about brown wood, and we'll have a baluite that we believe doesn't react with the iron, sort of thing. We'll just make a better form of baluite, and we'll just end up using white wood if we can, or take the idea that, go on, why don't we just split the difference and go for urea formaldehyde fluorofoam? Let's assume that it's halfway between white and brown, and assume that it doesn't, and we'll use a form of iron in the baluite form that is a little bit better and opposes the formation of cyanophyta, sort of thing. And hopefully by doing that we'll get moss and liverworts and potentially good CP growth. Anyway, well, that's the idea anyway, sort of thing, is to start splitting the hairs now and sectioning them off, sort of thing, compartmentalising our ideas and saying, you know, we're going to try this. Instead of messing around with peat and coir and wondering whether it is or it isn't a brown wood and all that, why don't we just use a white wood? Of course, unfortunately, this has got a lot of cotton in it, so that means it's a white wood that's got the gamma bond and it's very hard to decompose, so it doesn't quite act like a normal white heartwood timber sort of thing. Because as you probably know, there's 2 types of fungi out there in the real world. There's the brown rot fungi and there's the white rot fungi. Now the brown rot fungi attack the white wood, leaving the lignin, and the white rot fungi attack the lignin, leaving the white wood or the heartwood. So when you see sundews growing on the white heartwood of a log, you know that it hasn't been attacked by the brown rot fungi, because if the brown rot fungi would have eaten away the heartwood and just left the lignin, you see. So you can sort of glean sort of connected points there together. And I'm rambling again as well, because I thought I filmed this just out of the blue sort of thing. I'm just setting up for my own personal knowledge, but I thought you want to see the journey sort of thing. You never know, I might not be here in 100 years time, and you're like, what the heck did he do to get there, sort of thing. Yeah, I'm just laughing, having a bit of a joke. But anyway, I saw something online there that had some Indian chief. What was his name? Indian chief known as Little John or something, I think. I thought, oh yeah. Lived for, what did they say? I think it was something like 1785 to 1922, they reckon. He looked pretty, you know, the skin had gone into almost like, is it John Grimm, the one that becomes the Thing, or something from the Marvel comic? I mean, it's so long ago since I read those things. I'm getting all the characters' secreted, original, hidden names, or whatever they call, you know. Okay. Anyway, I'll just go around and... So that's the idea. We're looking for the secret life force of green plants, and I think that's what it basically is. And the sand is there, and we're just going to double flush the sort of thing as you go, whereas the other ones out there are saturated. As I said, we got this idea that if you just use a white wood and don't add any formula to it, you can just get away with flooding. Whether the new formula that is intended to oppose the growth of cyanophyta. As I said before, these sort of cypress plants are pretty tough, and they seem to be able to live in these trays full of the cyanophyta. And of course, I've got what you call dandelion seedlings, and they're pretty tough. They can cope with boron, and so you got all this cyanophyta growing in the soil there. And they're pretty okay, slow growing, but they seem to be able to handle it. I don't know. The white sock sour guys say if you can grow a tomato, you can grow CPs, and I think they're right. It's very hard to grow a tomato plant. I don't know what it is, but then again, we might discover that's what it basically is. You've got to have a soil that is opposed to having cyanophyta in the soil, and therefore will grow, hopefully, moss and liverworts, and everything from there will be like tickety-boo. So maybe, because I don't know if you know this, but most tomato plants these days, the recommendations is to plant the seedlings, you know, the larger seedlings you buy in the nursery, to plant them very deep in the soil, because they reckon the roots come off all the whole stem section will produce longitudinal lateral roots sort of thing. So so to be fully covered, sort of implying there's some sort of mycorrhizal relationship going on there for them to do that sort of thing. And whether their plants are swampy ground into a certain extent in quotes. So whether that's it, you've got to have a soil that opposes the growth of cyanophyta, because they're dicots and these are monocots. There's a fundamental difference, you know. And these monocots can cope with the cyanophyta in the soil. I don't know. And maybe they put out different chemical signals. Maybe they put out inhibitors. I don't know. That's beyond the extent or depth of my knowledge at the moment, until I can do some research, you know. But it's so hard these days, because, you know, most of the papers, you go online and you get basically an abstract, and you've got to pay money for it. In the old days, you just go down to your local library, and they don't want you to do that now, because now they're making the filthy lucre. They don't want you to go down to the library. They want you to do it online. So, you know, they'll start doing things like hiding journals and things like that, and moving books around and all this sort of crap, because they want you to do it online now. They want you to pay them the filthy lucre. And then when you read the paper, you think, oh, why did I pay this, you know, X number? And of course, they're usually overly pricey, you know. But I think we're going to... it's all going to come to a head very shortly, I think, and all these sort of problems are going to be sorted out. As I said, it only takes 5 or 6 people, you know, to be, you know, put up against the wall or something, and all the other people will just fall into line and say, "Oh, I don't want to go that way. No, I want to go the natural way." Anyway, that's it for this one, I think. Over and out. We'll see how we go over the next few days, and I'll set one up, and I'll probably do a pouring video as well. I'll pour the formula on, and we'll see what colour it is, and if it's any different, you know. It might be just a total failure, you know, but I'm giving it a good go. So there you go, as all Aussies ought to do. Okay, over and out. See ya.